Okay. Oh, Feline. So, do you guys want a quick recap of part 1 for those who missed it? I'll do a quick recap. A quick recap for part 1. Okay. Ooh, I can't write. Even though I did not miss it? Okay, okay. So, this is the adventure of the little cloud. Adventures of the little cloud, actually. This right here is a little cloud. She's a fluffy little sweetie with lots of magical powers. During part 1, she discovered these magical powers. She went through a bunch of ups and downs, but mostly ups, because she is one happy cloud. The story started off with her being with her original family until a little girl came to pick her up, and so that the little cloud could go on her real adventure. When these two got together, this was the start of their adventure. The little cloud learned how to do many magic tricks. For example, when the little cloud was all brown and dirty, the little cloud could do the tornado spin, and all the dirt would fly away, and she'd be back to being a little cloud. She learned that salty, wait. She learned that salty blue streams are not always a good thing, but she knew how to take them away. She learned a bunch of tricks, but as she grew older, the little cloud lore became very, very true. She was meant to be a sky cloud, but instead, she was a land cloud. This led to her having a bunch of problems with her little legs. But it's okay, because the little girl took the little cloud to a magical doctor that fixed all of the little cloud's problems in her legs, so that the little cloud could run and play again. And that about sums up part 1 of the story of the little cloud. Okay, so once upon a time, there was the little cloud once again. This is the story of the little cloud and how she got to be, what can I say, frenemies with the birbs. It all started off when she was a smaller cloud, and she used to go on little walks with the girl. When they used to go on walks on this pathway, there used to be grass on either side. It was a small park near their house. Oh, Felina's eating. This is so good. I'm so happy she doesn't have to throw up today again. Oh my gosh. So there was a small park near their house, and they used to go for walks. When she was a small cloud, she realized that there were these strange white creatures on the grass. However, they were just minding their own business. So the little cloud didn't really think too much of it, and they just continued on their walk. There was a bunch of them though, which was really interesting. As she got close, the little cloud would always watch them with lots of interest. She would even sit down and watch them for a few minutes if the little girl let her. Is this Mimi ASMR? No, these are bedtime stories, Sickleberry. Yeah, there were many situations like this in the little neighborhood that the cloud and the girl stayed in. There was a long row of houses. These were called townhouses. The garage door is on this side and the front door is on this side. We'll have one giant window. Oh, Feline. So, this park was located behind the little cloud's home. This is where the little girl and the little cloud used to go for walks. But there was also a great big grass patch in front of their townhouse block. It was a big field of grass with lots and lots of birbs. Even more than there were in the park. You see, the thing about this location is that where the cloud and the little girl lived, these birds, they were very common for some reason, even though they're meant to be by the ocean. They're called seagulls. But they're not anywhere near the ocean for some strange reason. But hey, there's an abundance of food in the city, so heck, why not? Why don't they move into the city, right? Anyways, so as little Cloud grew up, she got bigger and she got more protective. She got more protective over the little girl and the little Cloud's home, because the home was a very special place to Little Cloud, where she wanted to feel safe and that only she was allowed in there with Those sound like pigeons. They're not pigeons. They're seagulls in Australia. Wait, I forgot what I was saying now. What was I saying? Damn it. Oh, yeah. I remember now. So, as she grew up, she became more protective of her house. This was her home, and only who she liked and enjoyed were allowed to be around. She got more protected over the little girl as well. If at nighttime there was ever any strange people in the distance, the little cloud would immediately send out the warning borks, asking them to keep away. Because the little cloud didn't want to risk anything happening to the little girl. They were friends, so they needed to look out for each other. But during the daytime, the little cloud was much more comfortable with people, and instead she would go and try to make friends. But at night, friendship was a no-no. Now see, this sort of an idea also kind of changed as the little cloud grew up. When the little cloud started seeing the birds in the park like before, instead of just calmly walking by them, the little cloud would sometimes try to run at them super fast. But she couldn't always reach the birbs. But she enjoyed making them fly away. They'd be like, oh no, and run. Flap, 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 flap. I don't know how to do a side view. Okay, that works. So these birds would fly away when the little cloud would run towards them. And this excited the little cloud. She thought, wow, this is cool. This is a new game. Unfortunately, the little cloud, this habit kept going on, and the little girl was very confused as to what to do. So she started bringing treats with her. We have the famous chicken that looks like chewing gum, but it is chicken, I swear. So whenever there was a bird nearby, shh, it's okay. It's okay. You wanna come sit on my lap? Come sit on my lap. Eee. Come here. Come. 1, 2, 3, jump. There we go. Oh, it's okay. Okay, good girl. So, whenever there was a bird, the little girl would show the little cloud the chicken to distract her. So instead of the little cloud charging towards the bird and getting them to fly away, the little cloud would sit patiently on the sidewalk and wait for the chicken snack. Nom. Because chicken snacks are the little cloud's favorite snack. Although honestly, the little cloud loves food in general, so anything works. However, as time went on, this trick could no longer work because The little cloud's entire world was changing. The little cloud was struggling to understand what was going on as well. The little cloud felt like it was spinning round and round, but she had no way to understand why things were changing and why it was spinning. Why was it spinning without her? The little girl tried her best to comfort the poor little cloud, but it didn't always work. The changes were just too strange, and the little cloud was not enjoying it. So, what was going on in the world was that this entire huge, massive field, grassy patch in front of their house, it got completely leveled. It was gone. The little cloud could no longer watch her little bird friends as they went on walks on the front of their neighborhood. She could only see the birds at the back in the park. She didn't understand what was going on. What happened to all the grass? Instead, there were these giant machines. They were noisy and loud. Such bright colors, too. This is meant to be some kind of construction machine, but I think I did this the wrong way. I don't know how to draw this stuff, guys, but you know what I mean. These giant machines had flattened the ground, dug up the earth, and gotten rid of all the grass. There was just a giant pile of the top layer of the ground and all the grass that was on it. Until that too one day got taken away in a really big truck. This truck especially was especially loud, and the little cloud was very upset with this one in particular. Yep, she agrees. I don't know if you could hear her growl, but the world kept changing, and the little cloud began to realize that the birds were gone. But were they actually gone? They weren't. In fact, the birds, because the birds had lost their home. Those wondrous, lush, grassy fields were gone. They lost their home. So what they did, they decided to go hang out on top of the little cloud's house. They would be on the top of the roof. They would be on the balcony. They would be everywhere. This made the little cloud really angry. The little cloud didn't understand why these creatures that she was friends with in the park had to come to her house now. So she did what she could do. The only thing that she could do, and that was the Mega Bork. She would bork at them in hopes to make them go away. Sometimes it would work, sometimes it wouldn't. But the little cloud was just so upset. Why were these creatures invading her home? This is her home. This is the little girl's home. This was not the white creature's home. The little girl tried to explain to the little cloud that in this world things change. Trees get cut down, grass gets flattened, rivers get dug up and destroyed. Because people aren't happy living with this. They want this, or they want even more. They need to make space for themselves, and they don't ever think about all the creatures that lived in that spot before. When one person lives here, they can fit a bunch more. But could you imagine how many birds were here previously? These are all the little cloud's friends. These are meant to be birds, by the way. But just like us, when we don't enjoy having uninvited guests, the little cloud didn't really enjoy having uninvited guests either. So this is how the birds went from being the little cloud's friends to her enemies. The little girl tried explaining all this to the cloud, but it wasn't very successful since she couldn't really speak cloud. Clouds had their own language of magic and sparkles. So now, the little cloud is no longer free to play and enjoy every day because she feels as though her home is being invaded by these creatures. Instead of playing like what she normally does, she has to spend all of her time watching the balcony. Protecting her home from these evil invaders. Who knows? Maybe what the little cloud is actually thinking is that she's having battle with the birds. This is what the little cloud thinks is going on in her head. She thinks she's a ferocious beast. She thinks it breathes fire like a dragon. So this is what's actually going on inside the little cloud's head. Well, all she's actually doing is barking at the birbs. She's having a ferocious battle in her mind. Because she's got to protect her home. If she doesn't do it, who's gonna do it, you know? Fleen's just got the gers. She's got the gers and the chomps. Anti-fireborg, exactly. So while the little cloud is having all these adventures and protecting her home, the little girl patiently waits for the one day that she hopes to find a magic sorcerer that can help her speak the language of the cloud. Because one day, when she's able to speak the little cloud's language, she can hopefully calm down the little cloud and explain to her that this is how the world is. Nothing is spinning without her. She's never going to be alone. She doesn't need to protect the house from the birbs. She just needs to learn to share her world, her little world over here. She just needs to learn to share the little world with the birds. Because unfortunately for them, they lost their home. So the little girl hopes that with some time, Whether it's days, years, months. She hopes that eventually, the little cloud will be able to go back to playing all day, every day, and not worry about protecting her house from the invaders. Because they just want a home like the little cloud. She wants them to all be a happy family. So what has the Little Cloud's adventures taught us this time? They taught us to never ever forget about all the creatures and their homes. To make sure that all the creatures are looked out for. Otherwise, it'll end up hurting and cause more problems for everyone.